please tell me who you think he was referring to. So let's go to Mayor Hing's closing comments, because I didn't love them. And I've already put a video out about this. But let's talk about it a little bit more.
With shuffling things around, with mitigating all of that and all the conversations that were happening. And yes, people covering other people, and just overall the work that's being done in the city. I've heard nothing but good things from constituents and residents as of late, and it's very encouraging, especially as we're facing challenges that we have such a great staff and team that doesn't miss a beat and doesn't use the inconveniences as an excuse. But still raises the bar to quality. And I hope we can continue to improve and continue to provide that level of excellence and quality. With that being said, I've noticed also with our public comments, we've seen a shift over the past several meetings. More residents are showing up and asking informed questions, more bringing research and constructive input to this body. And I want to thank you. Every one of the people who stood up for public comments tonight has embodied that sentiment, and that's exactly what civic engagement should look like. Thank you guys. You guys all should be applauded for that. But I'll be direct. You know, the reason that it stood out to me today is because public comment has been, in the past, been a platform for personal attacks and defamation and speech that doesn't contribute much to the governance of the city. And freedoms have been cited recently, but freedom is not a license to do harm and to be evil to one another. And using 3 minutes to tear down or accuse or stir division just does not serve Lapeer. It doesn't advance anything, and it doesn't reflect well on anyone. So in the meanwhile, continue to preside over orderly meetings and continue to protect the time of this body and the public. And I thank those who come here to build up rather than to tear down. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You know, sometimes people have valid criticism to offer. And while I understand there were people who were kind of aggressive with their 3 minutes, it is their 3 minutes. And they were feeding into a tone that was set by that body. Let's listen to a little more.
And to your point, Mr. Womack, I've been reflecting on something over the past couple of weeks too, regarding what you just said. Sometimes people say things, silly things online, and they're not entirely true. And it doesn't just stop at online. Sometimes it's in other places. Recently, just earlier this month, there was a reporting on how the commission had handled some meetings back, some minutes, meeting minutes back earlier this month on January 5th. And this body voted 4-1 to come into compliance going forward with minute meetings in spite of some customs, and nobody's to blame for that. And I think it was pretty clear that it was stated that way. However, what was reported didn't reflect that accurately. It mischaracterized some of the motives and characters and things that were said that night. So I want to encourage residents that, in spite of what you read online.
So we're talking about a few, and I don't know who the mayor's talking about. If it's me, if it's Jeff Hogan, who's in the bottom right of the screen, who's been covering the city for years. But the meeting minutes that he's talking about, I know I did a video on it because the city manager and the city clerk, Ramona Sanchez, were not thrilled. There was some disagreement between them and between those on the commission who wanted those minutes amended before approving them. I don't know how that's being mischaracterized. So
online or what you might read on a piece of paper, it's not always true, as Mr. Womack had pointed out.
What you read on a piece of paper. The only piece of paper I see floating around this community really is the county press. So again, that feels like it's directed at Jeff Hogan. He can say it's not. That's fine if it's not. But Jeff Hogan does good work.
And it's good to do your own due diligence, show up at the meetings, be involved, be engaged, be positive, or watch them.
Be positive. It is good to show up to the meetings, be involved, and be engaged. But be positive? Was the city commission a bastion of positivity for the better part of those first 4 meetings? No. No, it wasn't. So to start soapboxing about how individuals should report on those meetings and to call for positivity, again, if you go look at my live stream yesterday, I watched the meeting and all I had was praise for the commission. Mostly. I don't know, maybe I might have offered a critical comment. By far and away, I offered a lot of praise because they did ask tough questions. I thought they made the right decisions. So you'll get positivity when you give it. The media has a responsibility to call it like they see it. I'm going to call it like I see it. When the commission is doing good work, I'll say they're doing good work. And when they're not, I'm going to say that they're not. And for the first 4 meetings under Mayor Hing, they were dysfunctional. I, however, also said that we should be patient. I dismissed calls for a recall vote on the mayor. I actually did my share of defending the mayor, believe it or not. He may not see it that way, but I did. I just don't like the implication that the local media, local reporters, of which I am one, were somehow contributing to this negativity around those meetings. We have to call it like we see it. It was just to watch it live and to praise them for their work, only to stick around and hear these closing comments and to feel targeted. It's just a tough pill to swallow, because I don't think I could really be much more fair than I've been in these last few months. We have an interesting composition of people up there on that little panel. Some have a lot of experience, some have none. There are many issues. We had the Shango SDRK group matter that'll come before the commission in a couple weeks. They still have a chance to walk back their denial of that organization's renewal. If they don't renew their license, they're going to end up in court. It's going to cost the city. I don't see that place getting shut down. I see the city potentially wasting a lot of money on that fight. But that's my opinion. And it's their prerogative if they want to deny. But I still have to call it like I see it. That's not me being negative.
Online and judge for yourself what's being reported reported to you, whether it's fair and accurate. Residents, I encourage you in that way, because accurate reporting matters. And when the public is misled about what their elected officials actually said and did, it damages trust.
Accurate reporting does matter, and I would love for the mayor to call out specifically who he thinks is misleading the public and therefore causing a damage of trust. I want to know that, because if it isn't me and if it isn't Mr. Hogan, then I want to take a look at the reporting he's referring to and judge for myself, because I'll call that out. Those who have been paying attention to what I've done in Lapeer the last 7 years know I will call out what I think is wrong. But the overwhelming amount of content that I have produced on behalf of this community, for this community, has been positive. It's been cheerleading. Even recently, I have said I want to see this city commission win. I want to see each and every one of them succeed. The mayor has to get used to the idea that sometimes criticism of his performances is warranted. It is. None of us are perfect. I have to be receptive to criticism. I'd like to think that I am. But I just don't see how the local media has been to blame for some erosion of trust between the public and their elected officials.
I want to encourage residents that, in spite of what you read online or what you might read on a piece of paper, it's not always true, as Mr. Womack had pointed out. And it's good to do your own due diligence, show up at the meetings, be involved, be engaged, be positive, or watch them online and judge for yourself what's being reported to you, whether it's fair and accurate. Residents, I encourage you in that way, because accurate reporting matters. And when the public is misled about what their elected officials actually said and did, it damages trust, not just in this body, but in the institutions that are supposed to inform our community. That should not be tolerated. It only perpetuates discord.
That should not be tolerated. Somebody cancel Jimmy Kimmel. I promise you, Lapeer, you'll learn. You won't find me on the right or the left. I do believe in free speech. I do believe in handling oneself, though, as a mature adult. So I don't like every public comment that I've seen made. He referred to some of those public comments. I'm not ever going to go up there and attack anybody. I don't feel like I've done that on my platform. But I want to know who he is referring to. Which journalists or reporters have contributed to this erosion of trust that he referred to? That is a legit, I want, please. I'm going to chop this bad boy up and put it out, because I want to hear from you. Please tell me who you think he was referring to. Because I think Mr. Hogan does a great job. If he was referring to me, then I need to take a look in the mirror, go back, re-examine my content, and see what I may have done to contribute to that erosion of trust he's alluding to. All right. All right. So So much more to come in the future. I'm really actually quite excited. Quite excited. Like I said, I'm leaning toward a pretty regular morning show. I'm working out the kinks on a lot of levels, preparing to platform some individuals you know. That said, you are watching Hashtag with Timothy David Galbraith. Please leave a comment when you see this. Consider subscribing. Consider sharing. You know how it works. Help me push the algorithm forward so that I can continue to keep you informed. I appreciate all of your support, each and every one of you, each and every time you provide it.